Hello friends, Clage back with another Punishing Grey Raven video today, and we are exactly 1 week away from the Dream Till the Timeless End global synchronization patch, which will be hitting global as of next Wednesday. So I thought this would be a good time to go ahead, take you all on a tour of the test server once again, give you a little sneak peek at what's upcoming, what you can plan for, and what you can expect as we do this massive triple patch. Once again, this is our final patch before the Devil May Cry collab, so it is both a big one and one that is going to offer a chance for a lot of extra rewards that can help get you possibly some more rolls on Dante and Virgil if that's what you're planning for. So let's go through everything. Before I get started on all the goodies that are in this patch, I do just want to say a very quick thank you and a lot of appreciation to you all for the very kind comments in the community post. As I mentioned, I am waist deep in Evo crunch mode event time this time of year, so videos have definitely been more sparse than I would like. I'm going to do my best to still do all the stuff you would expect, you know, guides and various videos when a new patch drops. So the good news is that we're only 6 weeks away from Evo Vegas being in the books, and from there my event obligations will slow down dramatically, and I'll be able to put all my focus on the DMC patch and talking about PGR, which is, you know, what I want to do, but I have obligations and they got to get done. But that said, even when crunch gets bad, I'm going to get out the stuff y'all would expect. I'm going to keep the videos coming. Might just be a little bit longer for some stuff that isn't super time sensitive, like the character guides and stuff. But again, thank you so much for your kind words, your patience and support. That's really, really appreciated. Oftentimes people get a little antsy when you're not putting out videos at the rate they expect, and so I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. So before we go into specifics on the test server here, I do want to note that the client itself feels notably snappier and responsive, just going through menus, booting up, all that good stuff. And the client for PGR has already been in a pretty good spot for quite some time now. If you're like me and started playing this game back before the PC client even existed and had to play it on emulator, you've seen just how much this client has evolved, improved, and been heavily optimized over the years. So definitely wasn't expecting things to feel better than they already did. The game felt more than fine in terms of responsiveness and how snappy the client was, but definitely noticed stuff just really firing off and feeling very smooth when I first got logged in. Now, I do need to put the caveat on this statement that this could be a test server false positive. Obviously, being a test server and not one of the main servers that the actual client runs on for everyone in global, there's way less people accessing this at any given time. So that could just be a thing where there's some minor updates and it feels way more impactful than it might when the main client launches. But at least in my experience, when I've noticed changes in the client itself in terms of speed and responsiveness and stuff, that's carried over to the main client. So hopefully this is the same, because, you know, I'm never going to complain about being able to get in and out of menus smoother and everything feeling like a more enjoyable experience. So I guess keep an eye on that. I'm curious to know if you all notice the same thing once the actual patch launches. But let's go into patch details here. So a couple important things still are carrying over from the current patch, the main one being the Thunderbolt manual. As I mentioned when I talked about this in the first place, this is a permanent thing. You do not have to rush to clear it. All of the stuff will be available as you chip away at the missions and get out all the rewards between Alpha, her weapon, and then all the other goodies you can acquire. Same for the Battle Pass style rewards for 21 Feral. You can still purchase the second half of this if you so desire, so this will be available. So just continue to chip away at this stuff if you want to get all the rewards out of it. And of course, if you have not done the research part of it to get the S-rank selector that goes up to Nononite, that will still be available as well. But again, this entire thing is permanent. If your focus is DMC, just chip away at the missions and worry about all this stuff later on. Nothing too big there. If you did not complete Lilith's specialized gacha, the specialized banner that had the front side that is evergreen, and then the backside, which was only available during Lilith's patch, it will appear down here in the event section near the bottom. Mine does not show up on the test server because I cleared out the front side of the banner, so there's no reason for it to exist anymore. But I did test before going in the shop and spending what little currency I had left over from the rolls, that it does appear down in this section. So if you have not gotten your free copy of Lilith by completing the missions and rolling the front side of the banner, you will find it down here in the event section. So speaking of the rest of the event section, so we have the King's Gambit section. This is our progressive rewards area for just doing what we do when we play PGR. Checking out the event nodes, logging in, using serum, all the stuff you would expect. We have these every patch. This one seems really big, but I think that's just coming off a double patch and going back into a triple patch that this feels like there's more going on. But nonetheless, there is a lot of goodies to get out of here, and some of them are black cards, so you'll be able to use those towards DMC. So definitely make sure you're chipping away at all this, getting these out of the way. Weekly activity missions will still be here. This has been here for every global sync patch. Same thing applies. Do your weekly stuff, get free stuff. You know how this works by now. And of course, we do have an A rank in this triple patch. Genevieve is brought into the game as a playable character, and just like the other A ranks during the Global Sync program, as you use serum, you will get free shards of Genevieve, and if you clear out all of the serum mission rewards up to using 6,000 serum during the duration of the patch, you will get enough shards to take Genevieve to triple S plus without rolling a single copy of her. So just like all the A ranks, no reason to roll, no reason to target her. You're going to get her all the way to max evolution for free by just playing the game. So I will be curious if they continue this once the global synchronization program is over with. I think this is a really good way to handle the A ranks, because sometimes people really want to build these characters for fun because they really like the design or like the gameplay, but you kind of have to wait and chip away when you do roll and hope you get some extra copies or use the base banner. So I'd like to see this stay. I don't know that it will, but this has been a great system for getting the A ranks in there and taking care of that. So that's good stuff. Next really important thing is the Blissful Gifts section. This is where you will obtain the S rank selector that goes all the way up to Chushukra. So these are like other S rank selector mission based things that we've had in the past. You just have to go through the various round missions. The more you complete, the more you get the rewards. These are all pretty easy to do. It's logging in, participating in the event modes, using serum. Very, very basic missions. Brand new and free to play players can all do this. All you have to do is finish 15 to get the S rank selector. So definitely make sure you're mindful of what missions are available and try to get those cleared out, because obviously a free S rank is a free S rank, and while it doesn't go all the way up to some of the meta characters, especially some that would be DMC related, it does have Watanabe Epitaph on it, which is the fire tank. He will go very well with Dante, obviously. So make sure you get this cleared out. You don't want to miss out on a free S rank selector. I did talk about this in the video where I mentioned how the S rank selector can be useful for Devil May Cry, so check that out if you want more details on that. Back to event stuff. So just as we have in the other patches, when you go through right out the gate, Selena will be available to roll on. She will be available as soon as maintenance is over. You can start rolling your copies and getting her built if you would so like. Genevieve is available 3 days later. That said, again, we're getting Genevieve all the way up to Triple S Plus for free, so there is literally no reason to target this. And then Vera will be available 1 week after the patch launches, and you'll be able to roll on her and her weapons and all that good stuff. We also have multiple new coatings available, as I talked about in the preparation vid. So Selena gets a much more dark-themed coating that she has available. Han Ying gets yet another coating. I think this is like her third one already, which I am a self-admitted big-time Han Ying fan, so you're not going to get any complaints out of me, but these are also available for rainbow cards. Lilith gets a new goth-coated coating. This one's really cute, in my opinion, so might pick this one up for myself. Genevieve gets a coating to come along with her arrival, and of course Vera will also be getting a coating to celebrate her arrival into PGR as the new fire amplifier. And Nana Knight gets a Monster Hunter coating, so if you are a Monhunt fan and you don't mind spending some rainbow cards right now, definitely recommend picking these up. Just like all the coatings we've been getting in the Global Sync patch, these are going to be available all the way into and well past the DMC patch. If I'm calculating right, these should essentially be available till the very last day of the DMC patch. So don't feel like you have to go get these right now. If you want to wait and see how your rolls go for the Devil May Cry characters and all that good stuff, feel free to do so, because these will be around for a good while. So let's go ahead and talk actual event modes and what is coming in this patch for the limited events. So first and foremost, Trial of Simulacrum returns. If you missed this a couple patches ago, this is the DMC style fight a boss, and we're not worried about a timer as much. We're not worried about pure rotation. This is about styling. This is about keeping the style meter up and getting the highest score you possibly can by styling on bosses. So very glad to see this mode back. I made an entire video gushing about Trial of Simulacrums and why I think it's so important for PGR, and with Devil May Cry literally one patch away once this comes out, I think that's even more to the point. So we obviously get rewards for doing these, and it's just a really fun mode where you get to be really creative with characters and how you approach combat with them, and less focused on, I gotta do my team rotation to kill things as quickly as possible. So Trial of Simulacrum will be there. Crouching Cat, Hidden Rat returns. If you did not see this last time this game was available, it is incredibly cute and oddly addicting. Effectively, this is like a hide-and-seek prop hunt style game where you are matched with other players. A couple of players are designated as cats to hunt down the rats. The rats try and hide and use various powers with cooldowns to try and blend into the environment and not get caught. So this game's adorable and, like I said, oddly addicting, so certainly not sad to see it back for another time. And you new players who are just starting, getting ready for Devil May Cry, obviously take part in this just because you get free stuff for it. But on top of that, it's just fun. Like, this game's just really fun. Way more fun than it has any right to be perfectly honest. The chess game returns, this time starring Vera. So if you've played the last couple patches that had this as a game mode, it's effectively a chess mini game where you use battle skills and other things to try and checkmate the king. It's pretty straightforward and simple to play. We get plenty of rewards for it, so definitely go through that as you would any other extra event mode. We will have the boss rush sections where you get to do the character tutorials and fight the various bosses on steadily increasing difficulties for rewards. And of course, probably the single most anticipated limited thing in this patch is going to be the Lucia wife gacha coding. So I have already gone through the opening cutscene for this coding gacha because, one, I didn't want to spoil it for anyone, and two, you really should watch it for yourself. They kind of win in on it. It was quite the thing. So good work to Kuro on that. That was a moment. But if you are interested in rolling on Lucia's wife gacha coding, as always, plan to go the distance. Plan on going to pity. It's probably going to cost you, I believe it's 12,500 black cards to go the distance on a gacha coding, unless I'm misremembering my math, and that is entirely possible. I've been doing a lot of number crunching for Evo, so it is entirely possible I'm wrong. It's either 12,500 or 15,000, but if you intend to roll on this, just know that expect to go the distance if you want your waifu coding, so always plan accordingly with that. That said, a very, very important part of this gacha will be available all the way through the duration of the Devil May Cry patch. So if you really want your Lucia waifu coding, but you're not sure you're going to have enough resources to get what you want out of the collab, you can wait. You can wait till the very last day of DMC when you've done your rolls, got as many copies of the characters as you wanted to get, and if you have enough resources left over and you really want this coding, it will be available towards the end of the patch. So don't feel like you have to go super, super in to get this right this second. You'll be able to wait, but it is a very, very pretty coding. They went really hard on this one. Of course they did. It's Lucia. She's the main character. And it's probably the single first waifu thing we've actually had in this game. This is the first time there's been any kind of, marriage wife kind of thing going on. So I know a lot of players are going to be very conflicted with how pretty and how desirable this coding is, while weighing the fact that Devil May Cry is 6 weeks away. So, but again, you have some time, so don't feel like you've got to make a decision right this second. So, a couple other things to talk about with this patch. So, as mentioned in the preparation video, Echo gets her leap skills put in, so she will have leap wafers available in the recycle shop. I will do a full guide on her leap once I have time to build it and play around with it and figure out exactly what the changes are. Most of the leaps are pretty easy to pick up, so it shouldn't take too much, but expect that guide sometime early in the patch to go over her skills and such. And then lastly, for gameplay changes, unlike the last patch, we only have one very notable gameplay change since they just updated the UI and the HUD and did some nice quality of life in terms of gameplay stuff. But what we have now is we will now have the split speedrun timer available during Warzone. So how this will work is the first time you lay down your times in Warzone, it'll tell you how many seconds into the clock you were for each wave that you go through, and then as you go through it will tell you whether you are ahead or behind of your current best splits. So obviously I'm talking to you and getting smacked around, so these are going to be very ugly splits, but this is an incredibly useful tool. So you can see while I was talking and kind of, you know, flipping around there, not paying attention, I'm 10 seconds behind my wave 1 split on my best time on this particular stage this week. So as someone who's done speedrunning for 15 years, yeah, I'm super excited to have a split timer in Warzone. That is really, really handy info that's going to make optimizing and perfecting your Warzone rotations and approaches far, far easier to keep track of. So really, really cool addition. Very, very happy to see this thing. This is going to come in handy. So definitely make use of that when you're trying to work on your Warzone rotations and optimize everything for that game mode. So, but definitely down with Kuro adding that in. You gave the speedrunner a speedrunning tool. What else am I going to say? So that should pretty much cover everything that's coming right out the gate. Obviously, there'll still be a few event modes that don't unlock until 2-3 weeks into the patch. We always have some event modes that come later as we progress through the duration of the entire global patch. So there will be some modes that I haven't been able to show you yet because, well, they haven't unlocked on the test server. So, but that pretty much wraps it up. I will, of course, be shooting to have the Selena guide available right when the patch launches, so you can get a look at that and start learning how to play her. She is pretty involved and decently complex. It's going to take me a lot of time and research over this next week to really hammer down what I feel are correct builds and rotations and all that good stuff, but she is absolutely gorgeous in motion. Her design is just fantastic. Now, I will freely admit I am somewhat biased here, as one of my single favorite color palettes you could ever make is blue, black, and white. So I may be a bit of a mark for this particular design, but you know what? Sometimes you just be a mark and it's okay. It's okay to be the mark. Sometimes you just got to admit to yourself you like things. So, but that should pretty much do it. So yeah, expect a Selena guide right as the patch launches. Vera guide as soon as she comes out on the global patch. I will get Echo's Leap guide done. And then, of course, do some other, you know, videos in the interim talking about more prep for DMC, talking about the event modes that I want to talk about and all that good stuff. So, again, thank you once more for the patience. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to do my very best to keep the videos coming at a fairly expected rate and get you guys the important stuff out. Even if I'm deep in crunch mode, it's really important to me that I get the stuff out that you guys need. I want these character guides done on time and all that stuff. So I will make it work. I may not do it in a way that's the most healthy for me. I'm kidding. I'm married to a nurse. I will not give myself that level of burnout. But I should have enough time to get everything done, even though we're in the middle of Evo stuff. And again, 6 weeks away from my Evo crunch being done, and also 6 weeks away from DMC starting. So, anybody got a time machine that you can just bump me 6 weeks ahead? That'd be awesome. But unfortunately, got to do the thing. So anyway, appreciate you all. Thank you for watching. If you want to do the YouTube stuff, as always, like, comment, subscribe. Always appreciate it. Never necessary. And once again, thank you for all the support and patience. So that's going to do it for this one. Y'all take care and be good. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.